Hello everyone, my name is Aarti and you're watching HW News. The Supreme Court versus the government, this tug of war between the judiciary and the government has been going on for the past 2 months. The government has been dropping hints of its objection to the continuation of the Collegium system for the appointment of judges, whereas the judiciary, on its part, is resolutely defending it. Last week, the Vice President, Jagdeep Dhankhar, spoke about the matter and said that in a democracy, legislature has to be supreme. Now, in a latest escalation in this tussle, Union Law Minister Kiren Rijiju has written to Chief Justice of India D.Y. Chandrachud suggesting to include a government nominee, a government representative in the decision-making process for shortlisting of judges. This may lead to beginning of a fresh row between the two. Now, what did the letter say and what is the entire matter? Let's talk about it in today's video. But before that, if you're watching this video on YouTube, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, you like this video and you comment below it. If you're watching on Facebook, then please follow our page. Now, you can also access our articles, videos and live TV on our app. So, if you haven't already, download HW News Network app on your Android Play Store now. According to media reports, Law Minister Kiren Rijiju has written to CJI D.Y. Chandrachud for inclusion of government representative in the 25-year-old Supreme Court created two-tiered Collegium for infusion of transparency and public accountability into the selection process of Constitutional Court judges. Now, before going into the other details, let me tell you what exactly the letter says. According to the Indian Express, the letter suggests that the evaluation committee for Supreme Court and High Court judges should include a government nominee. The Collegium, however, is yet to discuss this entire matter. The letter immediately caught attention of the opposition Aam Aadmi Party chief and Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal tweeted about this. He said, "This is extremely dangerous. There should be absolutely no government interference in judicial appointments." Now, he also called the government's letter a very dangerous precedent. The Law Minister, however, responding to this, pointed to a Supreme Court suggestion. He said, "I hope you honor the court's direction. The letter is just the precise follow-up action suggested by the Supreme Court while striking down the National Judicial Appointment Commission." Now, the Congress, on the other hand, has said that this letter is a part of the larger conspiracy on the part of the government to intimidate the judiciary. The RJD, on the other hand, called it shocking. Now, we have in the past, through many reports and also in the editorial, elaborated on what the Collegium system is, how it functions, what is the role of the government in it, etc. So, I'm not going into it all over again. Instead, I am adding a link of the past videos. So, if you have not yet read about the concept, you can understand it by watching these videos. Now, let me tell you, where did it all begin? Let's look at the timeline of it. On November 11, 2022, a bench presided by Justice S.K. Kaul issued a notice to the government saying that keeping names pending is not acceptable. This was in reference to the names of judges suggested by the Supreme Court Collegium for appointment. However, the government had not yet finalized the appointment process. There were allegations that government is sitting on the appointments. Technically, the way it works is Collegium recommends the names, the government carries out the thorough check, the background check, due diligence, and then makes the appointment. However, there is no time frame for the government as to within this time frame you have to make the appointments. Justice Kaul himself is a member of the Supreme Court Collegium, which shortlists the names for appointments of High Court and Supreme Court judges. Now, on the same day, the Law Minister, while speaking at the Times Now Summit, hit back. He said that Collegium system is alien to the Constitution. He further said, "Never say that the government is sitting on the files. Then don't send the files to the government. You appoint yourself, you run the show. You tell me under which provision the Collegium system has been prescribed." Now, on November 28, 2022, without naming the Law Minister, Justice S.K. Kaul said, "Let them give the power. We have no difficulty. I ignored all the press reports, but what he says that when somebody high enough says, let them do it themselves, we will do it ourselves, no difficulty. It came from somebody high enough, should not have. All I can say is this should not have happened." On December 7th, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankhar, presiding over Rajya Sabha for the first time on the opening day of the winter session, said that the striking down of the NJAC Act was a severe compromise of parliamentary sovereignty and disregard of the mandate of the people. He also said that the Parliament was duty-bound to address this particular issue. Now, the very next day on December 8th, when the matter came up for hearing, Supreme Court Bar Association President Senior Advocate Vikas Singh, without naming Vice President Dhankar, said in the court that persons in constitutional post were saying that Supreme Court does not have the power to exercise judicial review. Justice Call 2, without taking names, responded, "Tomorrow, people will say that the basic structure is not part of the Constitution." Now, almost a month later, on January 6th, the Supreme Court raised extreme concern over the 10 recommendations for the transfer of High Court judges pending with the government and said, keeping it pending sends a very wrong signal that other factors are coming into play. On that day, the centre also assured the court that all the efforts are being made to conform to the timeline set by the top court in the matter of clearing the names recommended by Collegium for judges' appointment. However, this back and forth between the centre and the judiciary still continues. For example, last week, VP Jagdeep Dhankhar again reiterated his point and said that Parliament is supreme in a democracy as it is comprised of representatives elected by people. He also responded to the basic structure argument mentioned by Justice S.K. Kaul. Now, most recently, Union Law Minister Kiren Rijiju once again said the Collegium system to appoint judges, which is an administrative job, is keeping the judges extremely busy, taking away their precious time and thereby adversely impacting their duties as judges. However, it is noteworthy when asked about the reintroduction of the NJAC bill in the Parliament, the government replied in a negative. Responding to a question by Leader of Opposition Mallikarjun Kharge and CPIM MP John Britta's, Law Minister Kiren Rijiju, in a written response during the winter session of the Parliament, said, "At present, there is no such proposal." Kharge and Britta's both had asked if the government proposed to reintroduce NJAC with suitable modifications. The centre's response came at a time when it was at loggerheads with the judiciary over the process of appointment of judges. Now, despite this, the government has been verbally criticizing the Collegium system. Now, one has to see what does the judiciary say. Do let us know what you think about this in the comment box below. For more news and updates, you can log on to www.hwnews.in.
Now be the first to know about the latest updates on our new news app. Go on your Android or iOS, search for HW News Network. Download our app, choose the language you prefer to get updates in, and be up to date with the latest news.